Do you find yourself dealing with low self-esteem and looking for a way to achieve real self-worth and mental tranquility? The ancient teachings of Buddhism are the only thing you need to look into. In this life-changing video, we will discuss 6 strong habits that have their origins in Buddhist teachings. These habits have the potential to assist you in developing an unshakable confidence in your self-esteem and in realizing your full potential. Lesson 1. Learn to be kind to yourself. Self-esteem is not a superficial concept, but a deep-rooted understanding of one's self-worth, interconnectedness with all beings, and the potential for enlightenment. The first lesson on our spiritual journey to improve self-esteem is to learn to be kind to ourselves, a fundamental principle rooted in the profound wisdom of Buddhism. This lesson is so crucial that it warrants a deeper exploration, delving into the various aspects of self-kindness and how it can transform our lives. The Buddha once said, "You can search throughout the entire universe for someone who is more deserving of your love and affection than you are yourself, and that person is not to be found anywhere." This powerful statement underscores the importance of self-compassion and self-love in Buddhist teachings. To truly understand and practice kindness towards ourselves, we must first recognize that we are inherently worthy of love and happiness. One of the primary ways to cultivate self-kindness is through the practice of loving-kindness meditation. This ancient technique involves extending warm, kind wishes to ourselves and others, fostering a deep sense of connection and empathy. To practice Metta Bhavana, begin by finding a comfortable seated position and closing your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, allowing your body and mind to relax. Then silently repeat the following phrases to yourself. May I be safe and protected. May I be healthy and strong. May I be happy and peaceful. May I live with ease and well-being. As you recite these phrases, visualize a warm, soothing light enveloping your entire being, filling you with a sense of love, compassion, and kindness. Take your time with each phrase, allowing the words and feelings to permeate your heart and mind. Once you have established a strong foundation of self-compassion, you can then extend this loving kindness to others. Begin by directing the phrases towards a loved one, visualizing them surrounded by the same warm, soothing light. Then, gradually expand your circle of compassion to include neutral persons, difficult individuals, and eventually all beings throughout the universe. This practice not only strengthens your self-kindness, but also fosters a deep sense of connection and empathy with others. Another essential aspect of learning to be kind to ourselves is cultivating self-forgiveness. We all make mistakes and experience moments of weakness, but it's crucial to remember that these missteps do not define us. Instead of dwelling on past errors and berating ourselves, we must learn to forgive and let go. In the words of the Buddha, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. By releasing the burden of guilt and self-blame, we can move forward with a lighter heart and a renewed commitment to growth and self-improvement. Self-kindness also involves treating ourselves with the same care and consideration that we would extend to a dear friend. This means taking the time to nurture our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Ensure that you're eating a balanced diet, getting regular exercise, and allowing yourself adequate time for rest and relaxation. Engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, whether it's reading a book, practicing yoga, or spending time in nature. By prioritizing our own well-being, we're not only cultivating self-kindness, but also building a strong foundation for happiness and inner peace. Learning to be kind to ourselves also entails nurturing our spiritual growth. This can be achieved through various practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and the study of Buddhist teachings. By deepening our understanding of the Dharma and integrating its wisdom into our daily lives, we can cultivate a profound sense of self-compassion and inner strength. Another crucial aspect of self-kindness is learning to set healthy boundaries. This means recognizing our limits and honoring our needs, even if it means saying no to others or disappointing them. By setting boundaries, we're not only protecting our well-being, but also demonstrating respect for ourselves and our values. It's essential to remember that setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but an expression of self-compassion and self-preservation. Moreover, learning to be kind to ourselves involves cultivating a positive self-image. This can be achieved by challenging negative self-talk and replacing it with more compassionate and supportive inner dialogue. When you notice critical thoughts arising, take a moment to pause and ask yourself if you would speak to a friend in the same manner. If the answer is no, reframe the thought in a kinder, more encouraging way. By consciously shifting our inner narrative, we can gradually transform our self-perception and foster a stronger sense of self-esteem. Through practices such as loving-kindness meditation, self-forgiveness, self-care, spiritual growth, setting boundaries, and cultivating a positive self-image, we can nurture a deep sense of self-compassion and self-worth. As we continue to explore the teachings of Buddhism and integrate its wisdom into our daily lives, we'll find that self-kindness is not only a powerful tool for personal transformation, but also a gateway to greater empathy, connection, and happiness. May these teachings inspire and guide you on your spiritual journey towards self-improvement and enlightenment. Lesson 2. Positive affirmations can help you start the day. Positive affirmations are simple, uplifting statements that we can recite to ourselves, either silently or aloud. They serve as reminders of our inherent worth, potential, and capacity for growth and transformation. When practiced regularly, positive affirmations can help to rewire our brains, replacing negative thought patterns with more positive and empowering ones. In the Buddhist tradition, positive affirmations can be drawn from the teachings of the Buddha and other wise beings, or they can be created based on our personal aspirations and values. Some examples of Buddhist-inspired positive affirmations include, I am worthy of happiness and peace. I am capable of cultivating wisdom and compassion. I am connected to all beings through love and understanding. I am committed to the path of self-improvement and enlightenment. I am grateful for the blessings and lessons in my life. When practicing positive affirmations, it's essential to approach them with sincerity and mindfulness. Rather than merely repeating the words like a mantra, take the time to reflect on their meaning and allow the positive energy to permeate your being. You may find it helpful to practice positive affirmations in conjunction with meditation, such as loving-kindness meditation or mindfulness meditation, to deepen your connection with the words and their intentions. To make positive affirmations a daily habit, consider incorporating them into your morning routine. Upon waking up, take a few moments to sit quietly and center yourself. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and bring your attention to your heart. Then recite your chosen affirmations, either silently or aloud, while visualizing the positive qualities and outcomes you wish to manifest in your life. By starting your day with positive affirmations, you're setting a powerful intention for the hours ahead, which can help to guide your thoughts, emotions, and actions throughout the day. In addition to practicing positive affirmations in the morning, you can also use them as a tool for self-reflection and self-care throughout the day. For example, if you find yourself struggling with negative thoughts or emotions, take a moment to pause, breathe, and recite a positive affirmation to help shift your mindset. You can also write down your affirmations and place them in strategic locations, such as your workspace, bathroom mirror, or wallet, as reminders to stay focused on your intentions and cultivate a positive outlook. It's important to remember that positive affirmations are not a magic cure-all for low self-esteem or other emotional challenges. Rather, they are a tool to be used in conjunction with other practices and strategies for personal growth and self-improvement. In the Buddhist tradition, positive affirmations are just one aspect of a holistic approach to mental and spiritual well-being, which also includes meditation, ethical conduct, and wise discernment. Positive affirmations should not be used as a means of escaping or denying the challenges and difficulties of life. Instead, they should be viewed as a way to cultivate resilience, inner strength, and a positive outlook in the face of adversity. By acknowledging and accepting our struggles while simultaneously focusing on our potential for growth and transformation, we can develop a balanced and realistic perspective on our lives and ourselves. The practice of positive affirmations is a powerful and transformative habit that can significantly improve our self-esteem and overall well-being. Rooted in the teachings of Buddhism, positive affirmations help us to cultivate wholesome mental states, replace negative thought patterns with positive ones, and set powerful intentions for our lives. By incorporating positive affirmations into our daily routine, we can nurture a strong sense of self-worth, inner peace, and resilience, ultimately leading to a more fulfilling and joyful existence. Lesson 3. Acknowledge your accomplishments done. The practice of acknowledging our accomplishments is an essential aspect of building self-esteem and cultivating a positive self-image. In Buddhism, this concept is deeply rooted in the understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings and the recognition that our actions, no matter how small, have an impact on the world around us. By taking the time to appreciate our achievements, we not only nurture our self-esteem but also reinforce our commitment to leading a life of purpose and meaning. One of the reasons why acknowledging our accomplishments is so important is that it helps to counteract the natural negativity bias of the human mind. Research has shown that our brains are wired to focus more on negative experiences than positive ones, a phenomenon known as negativity bias. This evolutionary adaptation served our ancestors well, as it helped them to be more alert to potential threats and dangers in their environment. However, in today's world, this bias can lead us to dwell on our failures and shortcomings, while overlooking our successes and accomplishments. To overcome this negativity bias, it's crucial to consciously and deliberately cultivate a practice of acknowledging our accomplishments. This can be as simple as taking a few moments at the end of each day to reflect on what we've achieved, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant it may seem. By doing so, we're not only counteracting the negativity bias, but also reinforcing the positive neural pathways in our brain, making it easier for us to experience feelings of happiness, contentment, and self-worth. In Buddhism, the practice of rejoicing in merit, or mudita, is a powerful way to acknowledge our accomplishments and cultivate a sense of joy and appreciation for the good in our lives. Mudita involves taking delight in the wholesome actions and achievements of ourselves and others without any sense of envy or jealousy. By cultivating mudita, we're not only nurturing our self-esteem but also fostering a sense of connection and interdependence with all beings. To practice mudita, begin by reflecting on your own accomplishments, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant they may seem. Acknowledge the effort and dedication that went into achieving these accomplishments, and allow yourself to feel a sense of joy and pride in your achievements. Next, extend this practice to include the accomplishments of others, taking delight in their successes and recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings. Another powerful way to acknowledge our accomplishments is through the practice of gratitude. Gratitude involves recognizing and appreciating the blessings and benefits we've received, both from our own efforts and from the kindness and support of others. By cultivating gratitude, we're not only nurturing our self-esteem, but also fostering a sense of connection and interdependence with the world around us. To practice gratitude, take a few moments each day to reflect on the blessings in your life, both big and small. This could include things like having a roof over your head, access to clean water and nutritious food, or the love and support of family and friends. As you reflect on these blessings, allow yourself to feel a sense of gratitude and appreciation for all that you have. You can also express your gratitude to others either through words of thanks or small acts of kindness to further reinforce your practice. In addition to cultivating mudita and gratitude, it's important to celebrate our accomplishments in meaningful ways. This doesn't necessarily mean throwing a big party or treating ourselves to an extravagant gift, but rather finding simple, heartfelt ways to honor our achievements and mark our progress. For example, you might take a moment to savor the satisfaction of completing a challenging project, share your accomplishments with a trusted friend or family member, or treat yourself to a favorite activity or hobby as a reward for your hard work. As we acknowledge and celebrate our accomplishments, it's essential to maintain a balanced perspective and avoid falling into the trap of arrogance or self-centeredness. In Buddhism, this balance is achieved through the cultivation of humility, which involves recognizing our limitations and the interdependence of all beings. By cultivating humility, we can appreciate our accomplishments without becoming attached to them or allowing them to inflate our ego. To cultivate humility, reflect on the many factors that have contributed to your accomplishments, including the support and guidance of others, the opportunities and resources available to you, and the simple luck of being born in a time and place where your talents and abilities could flourish. Recognize that your accomplishments are not solely the result of your own efforts, but are also the product of a complex web of interconnected causes and conditions. It's important to remember that our accomplishments do not define our inherent worth as human beings. In Buddhism, the concept of no self, or anatta, teaches us that our sense of self is an illusion, a temporary construct made up of ever-changing physical and mental phenomena. By recognizing the impermanence and interdependence of all things, we can cultivate a deeper understanding of our true nature and find a sense of inner peace and contentment that is not dependent on external achievements or validation. By consciously and deliberately reflecting on our achievements, practicing mudita and gratitude, celebrating our successes in meaningful ways, and cultivating humility and an understanding of no self, we can nurture our self-esteem and foster a sense of connection and interdependence with all beings. As we continue to walk the path of self-discovery and spiritual growth, may we find joy and fulfillment in our accomplishments, and may our achievements serve as a source of inspiration and support for others on their own journeys. Lesson 4. Learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are an inevitable part of life, and they can often be a source of frustration, embarrassment, or even shame. However, in the wisdom of Buddhism, mistakes are seen as valuable opportunities for learning and growth. By adopting this perspective and learning how to effectively learn from our mistakes, we can transform them into stepping stones on the path to self-improvement and greater self-esteem. In Buddhism, the concept of mindfulness plays a crucial role in learning from our mistakes. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and attentive to our thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment. By cultivating mindfulness, we can develop a deeper understanding of the causes and conditions that led to our mistakes, and gain insights into how we can avoid repeating them in the future. The first step in learning from our mistakes is to acknowledge and accept them. This means recognizing that we have made an error, without trying to deny, justify, or blame others for it. It's essential to approach this process with a spirit of self-compassion and understanding, rather than harsh self-criticism. Remember, everyone makes mistakes and they are an integral part of the human experience. As the Buddha said, "All beings tremble before violence, all fear death, all love life. See yourself in others, then whom can you hurt? What harm can you do?" By embracing our common humanity, we can be more forgiving of ourselves and others when mistakes occur. Once we have acknowledged and accepted our mistakes, the next step is to analyze them with a clear and open mind. This involves looking closely at the thoughts, emotions, and actions that contributed to the mistake, and identifying any patterns or tendencies that may have played a role. For example, if you made a mistake at work due to a lack of focus, you might realize that you have a tendency to become easily distracted when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. By gaining this insight, you can begin to develop strategies for addressing the underlying issues and preventing similar mistakes in the future. In addition to cultivating mudita and gratitude, it's important to celebrate our accomplishments in meaningful ways. This doesn't necessarily mean throwing a big party or treating ourselves to an extravagant gift, but rather finding simple, heartfelt ways to honor our achievements and mark our progress. For example, you might take a moment to savor the satisfaction of completing a challenging project, share your accomplishments with a trusted friend or family member, or treat yourself to a favorite activity or hobby as a reward for your hard work. As we acknowledge and celebrate our accomplishments, it's essential to maintain a balanced perspective and avoid falling into the trap of arrogance or self-centeredness. In Buddhism, this balance is achieved through the cultivation of humility, which involves recognizing our limitations and the interdependence of all beings. By cultivating humility, we can appreciate our accomplishments without becoming attached to them or allowing them to inflate our ego. To cultivate humility, reflect on the many factors that have contributed to your accomplishments, including the support and guidance of others, the opportunities and resources available to you, and the simple luck of being born in a time and place where your talents and abilities could flourish. Recognize that your accomplishments are not solely the result of your own efforts, but are also the product of a complex web of interconnected causes and conditions. It's important to remember that our accomplishments do not define our inherent worth as human beings. In Buddhism, the concept of no self, or anatta, teaches us that our sense of self is an illusion, a temporary construct made up of ever-changing physical and mental phenomena. By recognizing the impermanence and interdependence of all things, we can cultivate a deeper understanding of our true nature and find a sense of inner peace and contentment that is not dependent on external achievements or validation. By consciously and deliberately reflecting on our achievements, practicing mudita and gratitude, celebrating our successes in meaningful ways, and cultivating humility and an understanding of no self, we can nurture our self-esteem and foster a sense of connection and interdependence with all beings. As we continue to walk the path of self-discovery and spiritual growth, may we find joy and fulfillment in our accomplishments, and may our achievements serve as a source of inspiration and support for others on their own journeys. Lesson 4. Learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are an inevitable part of life, and they can often be a source of frustration, embarrassment, or even shame. However, in the wisdom of Buddhism, mistakes are seen as valuable opportunities for learning and growth. By adopting this perspective and learning how to effectively learn from our mistakes, we can transform them into stepping stones on the path to self-improvement and greater self-esteem. In Buddhism, the concept of mindfulness plays a crucial role in learning from our mistakes. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and attentive to our thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment. By cultivating mindfulness, we can develop a deeper understanding of the causes and conditions that led to our mistakes, and gain insights into how we can avoid repeating them in the future. The first step in learning from our mistakes is to acknowledge and accept them. This means recognizing that we have made an error, without trying to deny, justify, or blame others for it. It's essential to approach this process with a spirit of self-compassion and understanding, rather than harsh self-criticism. Remember, everyone makes mistakes, and they are an integral part of the human experience. As the Buddha said, "All beings tremble before violence, all fear death, all love life. See yourself in others, then whom can you hurt? What harm can you do?" By embracing our common humanity, we can be more forgiving of ourselves and others when mistakes occur. Once we have acknowledged and accepted our mistakes, the next step is to analyze them with a clear and open mind. This involves looking closely at the thoughts, emotions, and actions that contributed to the mistake, and identifying any patterns or tendencies that may have played a role. For example, if you made a mistake at work due to a lack of focus, you might realize that you have a tendency to become easily distracted when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. By gaining this insight, you can begin to develop strategies for addressing the underlying issues and preventing similar mistakes in the future. An essential aspect of learning from our mistakes is taking responsibility for them. This means owning up to our actions and their consequences and making amends where necessary. In Buddhism, this process is known as making amends and practicing restraint, and it involves taking action to rectify our mistakes and committing to avoiding them in the future. For example, if you've hurt someone's feelings with a thoughtless comment, you might apologize sincerely and make an effort to be more mindful of your words in the future. By taking responsibility for our mistakes and making amends, we can begin to repair any damage we've caused and rebuild trust with ourselves and others. Another important aspect of learning from our mistakes is cultivating patience and resilience. Change takes time, and it's essential to be patient with ourselves as we work to overcome our patterns and tendencies. It's also important to remember that setbacks are a natural part of the learning process, and to view them as opportunities for further growth and self-reflection. As the Buddha said, patience is the best of austerities. Patience is the supreme meditation. Patience is the highest form of wisdom. By cultivating patience and resilience, we can stay committed to our journey of self-improvement, even in the face of challenges and setbacks. In addition to learning from our own mistakes, we can also learn from the mistakes of others. Observing the consequences of others' actions can provide valuable insights into the causes and conditions that lead to suffering and help us to avoid making similar mistakes ourselves. This is not about judging or criticizing others, but rather about using their experiences as a mirror for our own growth and learning. As the Buddha said, "The wise ones learn from the mistakes of others. The foolish learn only from their own." Finally, it's essential to remember that learning from our mistakes is an ongoing process, and one that requires constant vigilance and self-reflection. By cultivating mindfulness and self-awareness, we can continue to learn and grow from our experiences and develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. As the Buddha said, "The only real failure in life is not to be true to the best one knows." By staying true to our commitment to learning and growth, we can transform our mistakes into valuable lessons and opportunities for self-improvement. By acknowledging and accepting our mistakes, analyzing them with a clear and open mind, taking responsibility for them, cultivating patience and resilience, learning from the mistakes of others, and committing to ongoing self-reflection and growth, We can transform our mistakes into valuable opportunities for learning and self-improvement. In doing so, we not only strengthen our self-esteem but also deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us, ultimately moving closer to the goal of enlightenment and inner peace. Lesson 5. Do not make comparisons. In the modern world, we are constantly bombarded with images and stories of other people's lives, whether through social media, television, or even casual conversations with friends and acquaintances. This constant exposure to the lives of others can lead to an unhealthy habit of comparing ourselves to them, often resulting in feelings of inadequacy, envy, and low self-esteem. The teachings of Buddhism offer valuable insights into the dangers of comparison and provide practical guidance on how to overcome this habit. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from our attachment to desires and our aversion to unpleasant experiences. When we compare ourselves to others, we are essentially fueling these attachments and aversions, creating a vicious cycle of dissatisfaction and suffering. In the Pali Canon, the Buddha said, "Envy is a state of mind that arises when we compare ourselves to others and find ourselves lacking in some way. To break free from this cycle, we must learn to let go of comparisons and cultivate a mindset rooted in contentment and gratitude. One of the primary reasons we engage in comparison is our inherent desire for validation and approval from others. We seek external sources of self-worth, believing that if we can measure up to others or surpass them in some way, we will be happy and fulfilled. However, this pursuit of external validation is ultimately futile, as it is based on ever-changing and subjective standards. Buddhism teaches that true happiness and self-esteem come from within, by cultivating inner strength, wisdom, and compassion. To overcome the habit of comparison, we must first develop an awareness of our thoughts and emotions. Mindfulness, a key practice in Buddhism, involves observing our mental processes without judgment, allowing us to recognize when we are engaging in comparison and the negative emotions that arise as a result. By becoming more mindful, we can create a space between our thoughts and our reactions, giving us the opportunity to choose a more skillful response. Once we have developed an awareness of our thoughts and emotions, we can begin to cultivate contentment and gratitude. Contentment arises from the understanding that we already possess everything we need to be happy and fulfilled in this moment. This does not mean that we should not strive for improvement or growth, but rather that we should recognize and appreciate the blessings in our lives as they are right now. Gratitude, on the other hand, involves acknowledging and expressing thanks for the good things in our lives, whether they come from our own efforts or the kindness of others. As we age, our bodies and minds change, and we may lose some of the abilities and qualities we once had. By reflecting on the reality of aging, we can cultivate a sense of appreciation for the present moment and the gifts we currently possess. No one is immune to illness, and our health can change unexpectedly. By contemplating the reality of illness, we can develop gratitude for our current state of health and the opportunities it provides. Life is impermanent, and death is the one certainty we all face. By reflecting on our mortality, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the preciousness of life and the importance of making the most of our time. Our relationships with others are subject to change, and we will inevitably experience separation from those we care about. By acknowledging this reality, we can cultivate gratitude for the connections we have and cherish the time we spend with our loved ones. Our actions have consequences, and the experiences we encounter in life are the result of our past actions and choices. By understanding this law, we can take responsibility for our lives and cultivate gratitude for the lessons and opportunities that arise from our experiences. By regularly reflecting on these contemplations, we can cultivate a deeper sense of contentment and gratitude, which can help to counteract the negative effects of comparison. Another important aspect of overcoming comparison is learning to appreciate the unique qualities and strengths of others without feeling threatened or diminished. In Buddhism, this is known as mudita, or sympathetic joy. Mudita is the ability to take delight in the happiness and success of others, recognizing that their accomplishments do not detract from our own worth or potential. By cultivating mudita, we can transform our relationships with others, fostering a sense of connection and support rather than competition and envy. By developing mindfulness, cultivating contentment and gratitude, practicing mudita, and focusing on our own personal growth and development, we can break free from the cycle of comparison and cultivate a strong sense of self-esteem rooted in our own accomplishments and inner strengths. May these teachings inspire and guide you on your journey towards self-improvement and enlightenment. Lesson 6. Push yourself for growth, not perfection. It's easy to fall into the trap of perfectionism, an unrealistic and ultimately self-defeating mindset. The teachings of Buddhism, however, encourage us to focus on growth rather than perfection, recognizing that true happiness and inner peace come from embracing our imperfections and cultivating a mindset of continuous self-improvement. Perfectionism is a mindset characterized by excessively high standards and an intense fear of failure. Perfectionists often believe that their self-worth is contingent upon achieving flawless results in all aspects of their lives, from their careers and relationships to their physical appearance and personal accomplishments. This relentless pursuit of perfection can lead to a host of negative consequences, including stress, anxiety, burnout, and low self-esteem. From a Buddhist perspective, the pursuit of perfection is rooted in the three poisons of the mind: ignorance, attachment, and aversion. Ignorance refers to our failure to understand the true nature of reality, including the impermanence and interdependence of all phenomena. Attachment refers to our clinging to desired outcomes and experiences, while aversion refers to our resistance to unpleasant or undesired situations. In the case of perfectionism, ignorance manifests as the belief that perfection is attainable and necessary for happiness. Attachment arises from our desire for flawless results, and aversion is fueled by our fear of failure and rejection. Buddhism offers a middle way that balances effort and acceptance, growth and self-compassion. This approach is embodied in the Noble Eightfold Path, a set of guidelines for cultivating wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. By following the Noble Eightfold Path, we can develop a mindset of continuous self-improvement that is grounded in a deep understanding of our true nature and the interconnectedness of all beings. Develop a clear and accurate understanding of the nature of reality, including the impermanence and interdependence of all phenomena. Recognize that perfection is an unattainable and ultimately unsatisfying goal, and that true happiness comes from embracing our imperfections and cultivating a mindset of continuous growth. Cultivate wholesome intentions, such as the desire for self-improvement, compassion, and wisdom. Let go of unwholesome intentions, such as the need for perfection, the desire for control, and the fear of failure. Use your words to promote understanding, harmony, and growth, both in yourself and in others. Avoid speaking harshly or critically about yourself, and instead use your speech to encourage and support your own self-improvement efforts. Engage in actions that promote growth and self-improvement, such as seeking out new learning opportunities, practicing mindfulness, and cultivating healthy relationships. Avoid actions that reinforce perfectionism, such as overworking, comparing yourself to others, and neglecting self-care. Choose a career or vocation that supports your growth and self-improvement, and that is in alignment with your values and aspirations. Avoid occupations that reinforce perfectionism or contribute to suffering, either for yourself or for others. Cultivate a balanced and sustained effort in your pursuit of self-improvement. Avoid the extremes of laziness and overexertion, and instead find a middle way that allows for consistent progress without leading to burnout or disillusionment. Develop mindfulness, or the ability to be fully present and aware of your thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without judgment or attachment. Mindfulness allows you to observe the arising and passing away of perfectionistic thoughts and emotions, and to cultivate a more compassionate and accepting relationship with yourself. Cultivate mental discipline and focus through meditation and other concentration practices. A well-concentrated mind is better able to discern the true nature of reality, to let go of unwholesome thoughts and emotions, and to cultivate wholesome states of mind, such as loving kindness, compassion, and equanimity. By following the Noble Eightfold Path and cultivating a mindset of continuous growth and self-improvement, you can gradually let go of the need for perfection and develop a deeper sense of self-esteem and inner peace. This shift in perspective allows you to embrace your imperfections, to learn from your mistakes, and to find joy and fulfillment in the journey of self-discovery and self-improvement. An essential aspect of cultivating growth and self-improvement is the practice of self-compassion. Self-compassion involves treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and care that we would offer to a dear friend. It means recognizing that we are all imperfect beings, subject to the same challenges, setbacks, and suffering as everyone else, and that our worth is not determined by our accomplishments or our ability to meet unrealistic standards. By cultivating self-compassion, we can create a supportive and nurturing inner environment that fosters growth and self-improvement, rather than one that is critical, judgmental, and perfectionistic. Develop mindfulness of your thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations, and learn to recognize when you are being overly critical or judgmental towards yourself. By becoming more aware of your inner dialogue, you can begin to challenge and transform unwholesome thought patterns and cultivate a more compassionate and understanding relationship with yourself. Practice loving-kindness meditation or metta bhavana by extending warm, kind wishes to yourself and others. This practice helps to cultivate a sense of connection and interdependence with all beings, and to soften the harsh edges of self-criticism and perfectionism. Prioritize self-care and self-nurturing as essential components of your self-improvement journey. This includes taking care of your physical, emotional, and spiritual needs and creating a supportive and nurturing environment that promotes growth and well-being. Practice forgiveness towards yourself for past mistakes and perceived failures. Recognize that everyone makes mistakes and that true growth and learning come from embracing our imperfections and using them as opportunities for self-improvement. Cultivate gratitude for your accomplishments, your strengths, and your unique qualities. By focusing on what you have rather than what you lack, you can foster a sense of contentment and well-being that supports your growth and self-improvement efforts. By embracing the middle way of continuous growth and self-improvement, and by cultivating self-compassion, mindfulness, and gratitude, we can let go of the need for perfection and develop a deep and lasting sense of self-worth and inner peace. This shift in perspective allows us to find joy and fulfillment in the journey of self-discovery, and to recognize that true happiness comes not from external accomplishments or validation, but from the cultivation of wisdom, compassion, and inner strength. Overall, the teachings of Buddhism offer valuable insights into the cultivation of self-esteem through small daily habits. By practicing self-compassion, positive affirmations, acknowledging accomplishments, learning from mistakes, avoiding comparisons, and focusing on growth rather than perfection, you can nurture a strong sense of self-worth and inner peace. May these teachings inspire and guide you on your spiritual journey towards self-improvement and enlightenment.